relationship reaching a breaking point became more widespread. The same breath, fans weren't prepared to see the name Sierra associated with this kind of conjecture. Old sequences are being rewatched all of a sudden. Conversations are being re-examined. Fans are making connections that they were previously unaware of. Online, people's emotions were running high as they argued over whether the indicators were always present or if reality. TV was just doing what it works best when it blurs the distinction between narrative and reality. According to several critics, the next season not only suggests change, but it also seems to tilt into it. Friends' responses are reportedly conflicting. Families reportedly experience the tension. And viewers are warned to prepare for scenes that can cause the cast to fall apart. Officially, nothing has been verified. The noise continues to increase, but no one has gone on record. And there's generally a reason why rumors get to this level. Whether it's deception, one thing is evident. Whether it's exaggeration or something genuine finally emerging, supporters think a major event is on the horizon. Additionally, it might not be possible to reconstruct the tale in the same manner once the season has begun. The change, based on what is being discussed, didn't originate from a single dramatic moment. They characterize it as something that infiltrated, slowly. It's the kind of shift that you only become aware of after it has taken root in the space. According to those with knowledge of the matter, Yandy and Mendeecees continued to appear, continue filming, and continue to perform in public. In private, though, the energy had shifted. Once natural conversations began to sound staged. It was a moment too late to laugh. And there was apparently stillness in the room when the camera stopped filming. Where the link was once. Producers didn't need dramatic clues to detect the next season, according to those who are familiar with it. There was already tension. Instead, scenes that were supposed to emphasize unity felt forced. Even tiny conflicts persisted longer than anticipated. Fans are startled since Yandy and Mendeecees were perceived for years as a pair who persevered amid strain, distance, rumors, and ongoing judgment. They continued to put up a united face. Because of this, the notion that everything eventually came to a breaking point is really heavy. There are rumors that the next season will feature a quiet unraveling rather than a dramatic breakup. There are reportedly times when Yandy seems emotionally guarded, picking her words carefully as though she's shielding something delicate. Conversely, Mendeecees is said to come across as worn out rather than irate. Although beaten down by presumptions and expectations, the actors and friends see it. And soon the audience is supposed to notice it as well. Online fans are arguing about what really caused the distance. Some think it was the accumulation of unsolved problems over time. Others believe that a particular circumstance made them both face facts they had been avoiding. According to reports, the season doesn't spell it out immediately. Rather, it releases the strain. Feelings were intense as discussions revolved about the same topics without coming to a conclusion. Sometimes miscommunications went uncorrected. Not all emotions were explained. And that's when annoyance started to set in. Sierra's involvement in the conversation also begins at this point. She isn't portrayed as someone taking on a role or purposefully interfering with anything, according to rumors that are going around. Rather, her engagement is characterized as minor, nearly coincidental instances in which she is present in the same area. Conversations that look a little more candid, responses that appear more emotionally in sync. Fans are startled since Poets thought that it wasn't about what was stated, according to certain reports. There are sequences in which actors silently watch exchanges without making any comments, allowing the spectator to make its own judgments. Friends exchange glances and someone abruptly shifts the topic. Before the tension increases, another individual exits the room. The real tale lives in these moments, according to those who have heard specifics. Not in charges, but in mood. Fans started going back to earlier episodes as rumors spread online, wondering if there were always signs. Was the dispute actually about what it appeared to be? How did that apology feel? Finished? People began making connections between things that might or might not be related. The distinction between perception and reality became hazy at that point. Both the cast and the audience, who were deeply committed in the romance, were experiencing intense emotions. The upcoming season is said to investigate how private decisions are influenced by public pressure. Every action is observed. Every word is examined. It is believed that Yandy finds it difficult to strike a balance between her power and vulnerability, while attempting to keep her story from being defined by conjecture. According to reports, Mendeecees resists the narratives that are emerging around him. Feeling trapped in roles he doesn't identify with, neither is presented as flawless. Neither is entirely to blame. Whispers claims that the narrative remains convoluted. It is also stated that family reactions are important, not encounters that are dramatic, but discussions in private that are full with worries. Advice is given with caution. There are subtle ways to test loyalty. Uncertainty rather than sides cause the family to become split. Some people think that things are still fixable. Some discreetly acknowledge that certain portions just come to an end as Sierra's name keeps coming up. The group is said to react in different ways. The rumors are dismissed by some as untrue. Others acknowledge that even inadvertently, proximity can alter dynamics. Tension surrounds what should be kept private and what should be spoken on camera. According to reports, this internal tension gives the drama that is developing a new level of complexity, making the situation seem more dire with every episode. Those who are familiar with the plot say that the lack of a clear conclusion is what makes it hit harder. Discussions don't always finish cleanly. Apologies don't always make things better. It is anticipated that viewers may find it uncomfortable to watch people navigate feelings that they don't quite comprehend, even though nothing is formally proven by the time the story reaches its most emotional scenes. Fans are astounded by how real it feels. It becomes impossible to ignore the feeling that something irreversible has changed, not because it's announced, but rather because the link that viewers use to recognize has changed. The next season is supposed to show how quickly love can alter under duress, how quiet may sometimes speak louder than arguments, and how sometimes the truth is a sequence of tiny moments that eventually come together rather than a single major revelation. Furthermore, the growing chatter claims that a chapter affects friendships, alliances, and storylines in addition to changing a single relationship. Nothing is bound with a bow throughout the entire cast. There are still unsolved questions, and it's precisely this lingering uncertainty that keeps fans talking, watching, and anticipating what will happen next. According to reports, the crisis is still developing. And the environment, it is reported that everything around the actors is changing in a way that is hard to ignore. The forthcoming of self-defense or confidence. Some think she's picking her battles carefully because she knows that everything she says could be misconstrued. Others believe that keeping everything within might be having a negative impact that viewers will soon notice. Mendeecees is thought to seem conflicted in the meanwhile, cautious rather than defensive in the conventional sense. There are times, according to those close to production, when he appears prepared to defend himself, but then abruptly backs off. The reluctance becomes a part of the narrative. The amount of information conveyed through silent pauses that are only a beat too long astounds fans. This is also the point at which rumors about Sierra became more prevalent, albeit without any concrete proof. Concrete chatter claims that, as she appears more frequently in social situations, there is a discernible change in her enthusiasm. She's characterized as composed, focused, and emotionally open during discussions that others seem hesitant to engage in. It's how she listens, not what she says. That is said to attract attention. It is reported that certain cast members respond to this dynamic in different ways. Some appear genuinely interested, keeping a close eye on interactions. Others seem uneasy, opting to take themselves out of situations before they can be misinterpreted. Uncertainty regarding intents and boundaries, rather than overt fighting, caused division among the family. It is anticipated that viewers would experience that tension. Online emotions get more intense as these instances are rumored, sensing that everyone is attempting to steer carefully. Fans pause scenes, take screenshots of facial expressions, and compare how each episode is received. Theories proliferate. Some viewers claim that the show is fabricating a story. Some contend that the emotional undertone seems too real to be made up, as some question the intentions of others and defended their favorite cast members. Emotions were running hot in the comment sections. According to reports, this segment of the season emphasizes how private hardships are magnified by public spotlight. Every choice is more difficult when it's being observed. According to reports, Yandy struggles with how much of her reality is her own and how much has already been made public. According to reports, Mendeecees struggles with the pressure of expectations and believes that no answer will ever be sufficient to please everyone. Scenes involving close pals are rumored, offering guidance in its place. Some people advocate for honesty because they think it would calm the storm. Others suggest distance, implying that space could provide perspective. The advice doesn't seem conclusive. Watching people follow advice that might or might not be beneficial to them in the long term gives viewers a greater sense of unpredictability. There are still concerns about Sierra's involvement throughout these times. It's not that she intrudes, but rather that when she's there, people tend to react differently. Some seem more transparent. Some grow more reticent. The amount of significance attached to these minor changes astounds fans. The distinction between connection and coincidence is becoming more and more hazy. It's also reported that family discussions come up more often here. Quiet exchanges rather than spectacular ones, check-ins that indicate issues. Reminders about obligations outside of the performance and inquiries about emotional health. According to reports, these scenes establish the plot and demonstrate that the stakes go beyond amusement. Different perspectives on what healing and closure should entail cause the family to become divided, not by sides. It is anticipated that as this section of the story develops, viewers will sense that something enduring might be developing. Even interactions between Yandy and Mendeecees are said to be less familiar and more formal if it isn't named. Once flowing conversations now seem regimented, nearly wary. The speed at which intimacy may turn into distance without a single heated fight astounds fans. Concurrently, there is an increasing amount of conjecture about potential future developments. Some viewers think there may be a big announcement later in the season. Some believe that the purpose of the absence of confirmation is to make viewers sit with uncertainty. People's emotions were running high because they wanted answers. But the narrative refused to provide them. With ease. According to The Buzz, the ongoing conflict between what is inferred and what is revealed keeps the audience interested. Nobody declares the marriage to be over outright. New dynamics are not formally labeled. Rather, the season is said to let moments pile on top of one another, resulting in a final image that seems inevitable. By the time this section of the narrative concludes the query changes. What matters now is how all parties concerned will proceed, not whether anything changed. Unresolved emotions, unsolved questions. And a rising sensation that the next episodes might reveal far more than anticipated leave viewers feeling this way. Fans continue to watch, discuss, and anticipate the next unveiling precisely because of this remaining uncertainty. According to reports, as the story progresses, the emphasis is believed to transition from calm anxiety to heavier, more inevitable events. This is the point at when everyone participating begins to feel the emotional burden of everything. According to what is being discussed, fans are taken aback since the plot no longer seems like idle conjecture. It starts to feel intimate, complex, and unavoidable. There are supposed situations where the truth is ultimately brought out in conversation. Even if no one expresses it explicitly, inquiries are extensively questioned. Halfway through, answers are provided. Pauses are longer than normal. In these conversations, emotions ran high because restraint itself got tiresome. Not because voices were raised, it is anticipated that viewers would experience that pressure. Observing others struggle to decide what to say and what not to say. It is stated that Yandy appears become more reflective throughout this stage. She allegedly turns within and considers how things got to this point, rather than responding to reports or defending herself. She talks about self-respect, progress, and limits in some subtle yet impactful scenes without mentioning specific people. The depth of significance that may be extracted from seemingly generic sentences astounds fans. Given the circumstances surrounding them, it is said that Mendeecees acknowledge that there are repercussions to remaining silent. There are times, according to people close to production, when he admits that avoiding talks might have allowed narratives to develop on their own. His tone is characterized as being torn between acknowledging that his life has long been a part of a public narrative and demanding privacy. As viewers watched him struggle with perception, regret, and responsibility, their emotions were running high. Additionally, this is where according to reports, the dynamic involving Sierra becomes more difficult to ignore due to timing and closeness rather than dramatic announcements. She was reportedly present throughout important situations, responding calmly while others appear overburdened. Fans are astounded by the contrast between her calm demeanor and the attention she receives. It makes viewers wonder if spoken intention and emotional alignment are equally potent. The rest of the cast's reactions are said to differ greatly. Some publicly express confusion and worry about what they're witnessing. Some decide not to say anything because they think it's not their place. It wasn't loyalty that caused division inside the family, but by interpretation. Everyone appears to witness the same events, but their conclusions differ. This time of the season is said to bring online conversations to a new level. Timelines, motivations, and meanings are points of contention among fans. Some claim that the program purposefully leads viewers to make assumptions. Some believe that the emotional reactions are too unfiltered to be planned. As followers of opposing viewpoints clashed, emotions ran high. Each is certain that they are interpreting the circumstances accurately. There are also supposed situations in which the topic of change is mentioned subtly during group conversations. Discussions about development, evolution, and recognizing when something is no longer useful. These conversations feel more extensive than any one relationship. Nonetheless, viewers are compelled to relate to what is happening. Fans are taken aback by how the narrative feels multi-layered, enabling several interpretations to coexist simultaneously. During this period, family input is said to become more direct. Firm reminders about children, legacy, and long-term effects without being combative. Carefully given advice, but also with urgency. The family was forced to choose between safeguarding the history and making plans for the future. These times remind viewers that actual lives are impacted outside of the screen by allegedly grounding the plot. Since there are reportedly scenes where Yandy. This time the internet wasn't awakened by a typical headline. Whispers woke it up. First quiet, then loud, sufficient to simultaneously jolt fan sites, group chats, and timelines. Clips were not being shared. They were exchanging queries. And one question kept coming up everywhere. What actually took place behind the hip-hop and love scenes? There are rumors that something significant will happen in the next season. Not a single instance, not a single disagreement, but a series of disclosures that, if accurate, could completely upend one of the show's most well-known plots. The identities involved aren't random, which shocks fans. They are essential. They are linked, and for years they have discussed their past on camera. Yandy and Mendeecees, the couple who spectators believed would always find a way back to each other, may finally be at the end of their journey, according to the rumor. Quiet choices, heated exchanges, and events that were never shared on social media other than a spectacular on-screen explosion. According to people close to the production, the next season will reveal more on what was actually taking place. When the cameras weren't rolling, things became more problematic since another name kept coming up as the rumors about their relationship reaching a breaking point became more widespread. The same breath, fans weren't prepared to see the name Sierra